just to get a quick pulse, since it's only you right now, Catherine, were you able to move around the rooms easily enough?
Yeah, I was. It was pretty easy actually. I kind of wanted to go to the oh gosh, what was it called? Um, Remote schooling, but it seemed like from at least their title slide that they were going to be focusing on attendance. Is that all they're focusing on? Do you know?
So they're doing attendance. Let me pull up that. Hold on one second. I've got the facilitator's guide.
Oh, you're the woman with the keys to everything. I
You
see.
know, we're trying.
You are the one to know, I think, Kathleen.
We're trying. All right. So remote schooling, they're going over attendance, supplies, student parent expectation.
Okay, great. I'll go to that one. I'll go to that one next. I won't go. I'm gonna stay here because I do have some technology questions.
Okay. And don't feel bad if during the middle of the session you want to click on breakout rooms and hop over there.
Okay.
Since there is not a third session.
Okay.
That,
I do see it. It looks like maybe one more parent showed up.
yeah.
All right.
This also is being recorded, and I think will be posted on Monday. So if you miss the other session or whatnot, you can always catch the video.
Okay.
And I believe, let's see, we should be starting at this point. So I'm going to ask Glenn to join us because he's going to get us started off.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Can everybody see me? Kathleen, can you see me okay? I just had a little hiccup with my laptop.
You're all good, Glenn.
Oh, thank you very much. There we go. Pardon me. Hello, everybody, and good afternoon, and thank you for taking time to join us to talk about remote learning technology and what we're doing to support that here during our COVID closure. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Glenn Vandewater. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for the Rochester City School District. I've been with the district for 26 years, starting as a fourth grade teacher, and worked my way through school administration and found a spot in technology about 12 years ago. I would also like to introduce some of our team members that are joining us today. We have Tim Johnson. Tim Johnson is the Director of Learning Management Systems. You may know them as our Google platforms or the Virtual Academy of Rochester that houses our online credit recovery programs, virtual advanced placement, virtual initial credit, Seesaw, so many different opportunities for our students to participate in distance and remote learning. I would also like to introduce Kathleen Mohan and Tea de la Gente. Tea is in the Spanish room. Kathleen is with us today. Kathleen has really been responsive to family and student needs, holding office hours for staff and families alike, and really being responsive on the RCSD Learns page, and really working together with other instructional technology teachers to make sure questions and concerns are answered as quickly as possible. With that being said, I'd like to now turn it over to Tim Johnson, our Director of Learning Management Systems, and Tim's going to talk about the technology that we're currently using. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. So if you've been with the district for this year, you are probably aware that we've provided Chromebooks to just about all K through 12 students. And if a student enters the district, or for some reason a student did not get a device because perhaps they were using a personal device that is now broken, or some other scenario like that, they can reach out to the homeschool, and we are typically able to provide a device within 24 to 36 hours. It shows up at the homeschool, and then the homeschool gives a phone call for pickup. So like I said, we've deployed Chromebooks to just about every single student that has requested one or wanted one if they did not already have one, including just about everyone K through 12. We also have been deploying Mifi hotspots since the summer. Those Mifi hotspots were provided by the Sprint 1 million project, and they did come with 10 gigabytes of data that was not at any cost to the district or families. Kathleen will touch a little bit later on managing data usage, but we do have those devices right now, and we have deployed many thousands of them to families that are in need of them. I will say that if a family already has Spectrum or Frontier or some other Greenlight, some other internet provider, they're going to want to use that over the hotspot, over any hotspot, not just a district provided one, but typically a wired connection is going to be faster. And in our area, it's not going to have any bandwidth or capacity limits typically. We also are really glad to announce that in partnership with Pre-K, we have been working on Chrome tablets for Pre-K students that are coming very, very soon. We're anxiously awaiting their delivery, and they'll be rolled out basically as soon as we get them. If you are not familiar with a Chrome tablet, it's kind of like an iPad, but it runs Chrome OS like our Chromebooks. And so students will have a very similar experience to what they would have on a Chromebook or what they would have had in a Chromebox in the school environment. I'm really excited about those. They're very, very nice devices, and fingers crossed should be here very soon. I did mention this already, but if you are lacking a device, need a device, or you know of someone that needs a device, we do provide devices to all K-12 currently city school district students, and those can be arranged for by calling the homeschool if there is a need. Also, if there is a technical concern, a student has broken their screen or they have some sort of other issue with their Chromebook, the student's teacher, or by calling the school, you can open up a help desk ticket. And then we now have 4 locations where we can do an exchange on those devices, and that's weekdays from 10 to 2. So after the school puts in a ticket for the student, they'll be given a location and they can make that exchange right there. And so we typically just exchange the device out unless it's a quick fix or just showing somebody how to do something simple. And then we will repair those devices and redeploy them. I think that's what I have for hardware. And so I'm going to turn it over to Kathleen, who's going to share some more information about our platforms and our websites and cover anything that I may have missed.
All right, let me go ahead and unmute myself. So hopefully at this point of November, you guys have heard of or have been to the RCSD Learns website. So this is the website that Instructional Technology, our department, has put together with an astronomical amount of information and guides for parents and students and teachers. Sorry, I lost my spot there. So if you haven't been there, you're going to want to go check it out. You can get there from the main district website or by going to rcsdk12.org/RCSD Learns. All right, and I want to take you there to show you around a little bit and what you are going to find. So when you come into RCSD Learns as a student or a family, you're going to click on Families and Students. And all these nice, easy buttons come up with different items and resources that we have in here for you. And let me show you a couple of them. First, let's take a peek at Chromebooks and Wi-Fi, because that seems to be one of our biggest questions and the biggest need for parents to get information. So on here, we have down here, at this point, I think everybody's good with how to log in to a district Chromebook. But if we do have new students to the district and you need it, we have the how-to guides here, both in English and Spanish. And we are working on making sure that everything that we put up is translated as well. So on here, let's go ahead and click on Managing Data, because this is, I believe, my #1 question that I am getting from help desk, from parents, from students, from teachers. So what is happening? Our students have the Mifis. Each Mifi has 10 gigabytes of data a month. And if you've ever looked at your data usage, you will know 10 gigabytes is not a lot of data. It is actually a very, it it's minimal. Now these hotspots were intended to be for after school for kids to do their homework. So this all happened before the pandemic. And now they're not really meant to rely on for full internet and for Zoom and sharing screens and video. But so a couple ways that you can make them work for you. Number one, if you do have home Wi-Fi, use that first and keep the Mifi for when you don't have access to that home internet. If you are on the Mifi and that is your main internet, a couple tips that you can use when on Zoom. The thing that is using the most amount of bandwidth and data from your device is having your video on. So, and I know there's a lot of teachers who want students to have their video on the entire time, but they also are learning and understanding that our students, that eats up most of their data. So for every hour a student has their video on in Zoom, it uses up a half a gig of data. All right, so that's 2 hours with a video, and then that would only give them 5 days of Zoom. So working with the teachers with still being able to check in by turning their video on during check-in sessions and then turning it off when it's not needed. And teachers, we had this question last time, teachers can still do stuff such as Google Docs, Pear Deck, Kahoot, Jamboard, where the students can still interact with the teacher in the class and the teacher can see them interacting, but without their video on. If your student is having issues with their sound breaking up, with Zoom dropping, or not being able to see the teacher's screen, make sure your video is off and anything else open in the background is off. If your children are using their Chromebooks and hotspots to watch YouTube all day, their video is going to go, their data is going to go away very quickly. So same thing with YouTube. It's about a half a gig an hour that the students use. So if you're having issues, check out this resource of different ways that you can help reduce the data usage. All right, and tips to do that. When I scroll down to the bottom, I can get right back to my Chromebook and Wi-Fi. All right, Chromebook troubleshooting. So as Tim was mentioning, your line of defense is, or the way to report an issue, whether or not it's physical damage or something not working with the Chromebook, is to call your home school, call the teacher. They're able to submit a help desk ticket. But on our RCSD Learns website, we do have some troubleshooting steps that you as the parent and family can try first. Most of the issues that I'm getting in Power School is that the Chromebook just needs to be reset. And that can just be done by holding the power button down for 10 seconds. So before getting very frustrated, check out our troubleshooting guide and see if there's a nice, easy fix for you on how to get stuff set up and working. And we've got a lot of documents and videos here as well. This was a big one, turning down the Chromebook microphone volume. We had many teachers and parents complain that there was a ton of feedback. Volume was way too loud. Kids were breaking up. Typically, the issue is that their microphone volume is on too high and the volume of their Chromebook. So this video right here is going to take you, the parent, and the student through how to turn that volume down. So looking at when you're having Chromebook issues, to check out our Chromebook troubleshooting guide for many answers of what you need to do. We've got the connecting Mifis, and if you do have an item, device that is not a Chromebook that your student is using, this personal device section here will walk you through how to connect to Rock Connect on each of those different types of devices. I'm going to go ahead back to our families and students to check out our parent and student digital resource guides. So if there is anything you want to know about a program that instructional technology supports and works with teachers with, this is where you will find the answers and guides, typically in English and in Spanish, as much as possible. We're continually getting items translated for us. So here you can see Zoom. This is my section. Zoom, I've got some parent guides, some how to change your child's profile name, which is a huge question with parents. When a student first starts Zoom, they click on the link and it comes up automatically with whatever name they were on last time. This section here is a video that will walk you through how to reset that. All right, so this page here, as I said, everything you would want to know. And as we get more questions, we add the answers here in this resource guide. We update this site multiple times a day. Last session, we had questions on how do I get into the parent student portal. This is where your videos and login information and guides are on how to access that. Now, yes, we know not all grades are in there. That's when you connect with your teacher and that way and ask them to make sure that it's all in. The grades that the teachers have entered are available in the parent portal. We head back here and just look at, we already looked at managing data. At this point of the year, I believe everybody is familiar with, and if you're not, this is a great place to find out more information, our Seesaw and Google Classroom platforms. We've got all of our how-to getting started guides and different tips that you can assist your students with at home in Seesaw and in Google Classroom. So anything you want to know about those platforms, that all of that is listed here under delivery platforms for both in English and in Spanish. And lastly, what I want to show you is our Zoom website. So everything you could possibly want to know about Zoom, both from a parent point of view, student, or a teacher, or if you want to create your own meeting. We have created many, many guides here with Zoom with the help of the Zoom's guides. Down here for parents, we have a quick guide for parents of what to do and what to expect and how you can help your student as they're participating in their synchronous learning time in Zoom. So I know sometimes we kind of chuckle and we see the news about things that happen, but checking to make sure that knowing that your student, your child may have their video on, keep an eye on what you're doing around the house because you might get caught unexpectedly on video. Had a couple parents message me going, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. One of the other questions we had last session was, how can I help my students get to class on time and manage their schedule? Unfortunately, Zoom does not have a reminder. Google Classroom, it's in there, but there's not a reminder. Each student in the district does have a Gmail account that they have access to through Rock Connect. Now, you as their parent can assist them with creating a calendar, a schedule of all of their classes with reminders set up to come up on their Chromebook. For us as a parent, what we've done is, because my stepson is not good at following his schedule, so we're really working on that. We have a paper copy above his desk. We have one downstairs on the refrigerator, and we have one pretty much anywhere. We should put one right in the bathroom for him. And we have any device in our house that has an alarm capability. we have it set up to remind him before the class. So finding different ways to help teach your student how to manage their time and become independent with that, especially our older students. It is a great learning tool for managing time. Also, the other thing that we ask for parents is to assist your students, assist your children with providing a distraction-free and quiet location. And we know that this can be very difficult in some homes, or if students are with family members or in one of the centers. Just being aware of what's around and not having them in rooms with the crying babies or with other siblings around as much as possible. If you have headphones, that will assist your child greatly in being able to listen and focus on what the teacher is saying. So keeping an eye, go ahead through the rest of these resources for you. And then down below, we have some etiquette for students. So these are great resources just to remind, our teachers are reminding the students each class, and this is something that you can also go through with your children for the different classes as well. All right, there's all different how to sign in and data usage here under the Zoom for parents. So that is pretty much all of going through that website. I just touched on a couple of our items in there and guides for you as family. There's also the staff guides. Pretty much everything that we have is in there and linked. Your students at this point, these 2 pages you should be very familiar with, or at least your students are. When your students open up a Chromebook, it asks them to log in. They log in and they sign in with Google. This is their home page in their Google account. This is how they get to all of the applications that the district supports. So
Thanks, Kathleen. I do have Catherine who has a few follow-up questions about the Google Classroom.
okay.
Thank you. I'm not sure who chat with me is, but thank you. Yeah, so I have a couple of questions and a general comment that you're probably not going to want to hear, but let me start with my questions. I get a Google Classroom summary email that I have opted to receive weekly for both of my RCSD students. And I'm not sure as a parent, based on the information that I'm seeing at the RCSD Learn's website, if I'm supposed to be able to actually get into Google Classroom through the Google Classroom link, or if I just get the emails. Is that correct? Okay, so I'm glad you clarified that. I just wanted to say 2 things. First of all, I'm also on CPAC, and we ran into this same problem in our last meeting, and I just wanted to put it in front of as many RCSD central office ears as I could. With the Reopens website that Special Education has put together, and with the RCSD Learns website, I have to say, from what little I've seen so far, it looks fantastic. However, what I will tell you is parents, especially those of us like myself who've been around for a while, we are not in the habit of checking the website. We are not in the habit of checking the website because the website has not always been very good, and we are in the habit of knowing that the website kind of stinks. So I would really implore you to beat over our heads. However you need to beat over our heads, then this is a resource, because golly Moses, this is the first time I've seen this stuff. I didn't know this was here. I should have known this was here. It was the same thing with the Reopens webpage, and I'm getting a lot of comments as a CPAC parent leader from parents who didn't know that that was there either. So I just want to kind of put out a general comment. We really need to up our game on the information that you guys are putting out. This is fabulous information. The websites that I have seen are looking really, really good. I was looking at the mobile site as well. That also looks really, really good. Parents need to know that they can come back to this resource now, because we're just not, it's never been easy to use in the past, and we're out of the habit of doing it. Now, I don't know about, parents of younger children, but that's just sort of my general comment about the technology, because golly, I would have loved to have seen some of this stuff back in September.
Right. And I know that is always a struggle, and I'm sure my colleagues can jump in with getting information out. I know our department had, and I've got the link up here, we had a live YouTube. Well, it wasn't live, but it was a recorded YouTube where our department went through each part of the website and the different technology that was both robocall, email, and put out through the district and advertised with. But it is difficult because parents are getting so much information in so many different ways, and it is overwhelming to kind of pick through what stuff and pick and choose what they're able to attend to. So hopefully this is where we're going to rely on you guys as coming to this event and seeing these resources and then bringing it back to your CPAC group. I know anytime we're in front of parents, our department goes through our RCSD Learns website. We're working with our teachers to make sure they know about it and refer our parents to it. Office of Parent Engagement is promoting it as well, along with basically any chance we have. Every help desk ticket, parents are directed here of how to get resources. So if you have any other suggestions on how we could reach out and get these out to parents, we would absolutely value that feedback in the chat. That would be fabulous.
I would just like to add that communication, is sometimes difficult, right? With robocalls, the constant robocalls, and listening to all the information that comes through those becomes quite a daunting task. I get them myself from my daughter's school, and a lot of times I find myself hanging up. We are working with the communication, IMNT, working with the communications department is working to be able to send out text messages on top of the robocalls, so people could opt out of the robocall and receive text messages. So maybe those are more digestible in terms of communicating to families where specific resources are. But hearing that feedback is fantastic, and we'll continue to work to do a better job in terms of communicating out to our CST families. But thank you for that feedback. And I did note that down to follow up.
All right, thank you. Let me see if I have any more questions. I have a question here about increasing the data for the Mifis.
So I am gonna let Glenn hop in on that question.
Yeah, if that was me, can I just ask the question?
Sure, good. Sure, go ahead, Ms. Searle.
Sure. Yeah, so thanks so much for this. This is really helpful to know about all this information that's available. And we're lucky enough to have an internet service to our home, but I was really thinking about those families who are on the 10 gigabytes and just how hard it must be for their students to to do their schoolwork, especially given that there's, on the one hand, there's the limit of how much data they have, and on the other, there's the schedule that for the most part is having the kids, at least at my school, I have a fourth grader at school 12, and he's on from 9 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon with synchronous Zoom. And so I can't imagine if he basically wouldn't be able to participate fully, right? If he just had that 10 gigabytes. So I was so happy to hear that the district has gotten this donation that's going to make possible expanding the Mifi, but I wondered if how far is that going to go, and will every family who needs one be able to have more data, or how much, what kind of gap is going to be left, and what can the district do to help remedy that situation for families? Thanks.
That's a great question, and something that our entire team, I think, loses sleep over frequently. And to answer that question, the original MiFis that we received from the Sprint 1 million project, we began deployment back in September of 2019. Were never really meant for fully remote learning, never anticipating at that time on March 13th, 2020, that we'd be closing. However, they did provide a bridge. They do provide the 10 gigabytes. Kath, I'm going to, a little further down this conversation, I'm going to defer back to Kathleen in terms of data usage and how to save on that. They do provide the 10 gigabytes that refreshes on the activation date every month. In addition to that, like you had talked about, we are receiving an additional 2,900 MiFis that are coming with 100 gigabytes of data through a philanthropic donation from the 10 million project, because we all know Sprint was bought out by T-Mobile, and now it's now called the 10 million project. Coming with 100 gigabytes of data is going to provide some additional bandwidth for students. We're hoping to get up to 5,000 of those devices in total. And working with local government and local philanthropic donors, we're hoping to make, I'm very confident, and things are in the works to make those devices unlimited hotspots. Now, in terms of identifying, the trick is who gets an unlimited hotspot, who doesn't get an unlimited hotspot. We do keep data usage, monthly data usage reports. So we do have the names of students that are moving through their data more rapidly, so that we can actually use a metric to deploy unlimited hotspots. And we can also use other indicators too. For example, maybe a family that has a pre-K student and multiple siblings within the district and doesn't have internet. With the unlimited hotspots, we will deploy one hotspot per family. With the 10 million project, we deployed a hotspot to every single student that requested one, even if there were multiple students within the family. So we're hoping to be able to reach more students, because up to, I believe up to 4 students can connect to these hotspots, again, with unlimited data at 4G speed. So, we're actively working to resolve that problem so that we stay better connected with our kids. Tim, did you want to add anything to that? Because you're a big part of this too.
Just, we do kind of, as Glenn mentioned, we do analyze that data, and we're just kind of processing the opening of school data. There's a slight delay, just like with your cell phone bill. It's a little hard sometimes to see your usage until you get that at the end. But we are hoping to swap out some of the 1 million devices for those kids that are exceeding that, or for families. And these, the T-Mobile network is very good in the city of Rochester, and this is something that Sprint's network, as a result of the merger, will someday go away, and it'll just be T-Mobile's network. And this is kind of more of the future-proof device than the 1 million devices, which are kind of legacy, will be legacy devices ultimately.
Kathleen, do you want to maybe talk quickly about strategies that you and some of the instructional technology teachers have come up with in terms of preserving the data for the devices that we currently have deployed with the 10 gigabytes of data per month?
And I do want to do a little time check, because we will be kicked out of the room in a few minutes.
Oh. Before we go any further, should I ask if there's any more questions, or are we going too far down the rabbit hole on this particular one?
We will be going into the rabbit hole. It looks like we're closing in a minute. So I just want to let everyone know, we will be posting frequently asked questions to the landing page on the website. That's rcsdk12.org /family day. And we will also be posting this recording on Monday at 5 to our Facebook or YouTube account, as well as the website. So if you don't have your questions answered here, they will be posted.
And please feel free to email me directly, glenn.vanderwater@rcsdk12.org. If you email me directly, please put in the subject line RCSD parent, some sort of indicator. I do receive a lot of external emails from vendors, and I don't want anything to get lost that needs my attention.
And
All
those,
right, so it looks like we got 5 seconds.
those
Oh,
tips
go ahead, Kathleen.
you are on the managing data page.